Welcome to Get Your Bell Rung. I am KG. With me, as always, is Mark. Man, what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, man. Just enjoying the day.
Yep, beautiful day outside. Beautiful day outside. Going to go do some yard work, I think, after I get off this podcast. So,
Don't pass
tonight,
out this time.
I'll try not to, man. Tonight, we're going to be covering All in Texas from yesterday. And man, what a hell of a pay per view this was.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There wasn't a bad match on there, I don't think.
No, no, absolutely not. I mean, there's a lot, before this, the pay per view even, was live, within 30 seconds, I posted on my page that although the arena, it definitely wasn't sold out, the crowd looked great last night, full of energy, because I knew right away that the IWC would just be shitting all over it, and I'll be goddamn if if that did happen. And dude, I am so sick of the international the internet wrestling community. You fans who are part of that community are truly pieces of shit. I don't care if you guys never watch this podcast or never subscribe. I don't want you to subscribe because you are exactly what's wrong with professional wrestling. And it doesn't matter if you're a tribalist for WWE or AEW. The fact that you guys are absolutely fucking toxic to the wrestling community. I'm just so over them.
All right. So I think they got it set up for 27,000 seating last night. And I believe they sold 25 plus.
Right.
All right. So there's only like 1,500 tickets left over. Tickets went as low as 38 bucks. I'm sure that was at the gate, you know. And I'm sure whatever you bought, you probably got moved up to, a closer seat somewhere. But yeah, it was 25,000. And that's pretty much what I said it was yesterday.
Well,
Um,
and when it comes to the ticket prices, that's one thing the IWC were crying. They were saying, well, if WWE sold it for $38, blah blah blah. Look, that is actually the price of a ticket for a wrestling event. That's what it should be, right? The wrestling fans are blue collar workers. The fact that there are people like WWE, and I'm not getting down with WWE. I'm a WWE fan. I'm an AEW fan. But the fact that they charge $1,500, $4,000 for seats is fucking outrageous. I actually respect the fact that all AEW that they're selling tickets for as low as $38. Now, if they should happen to explode in the future, will those prices go up? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think they should though. uh to me that is a good price for a family to be able to go in and enjoy a show within professional wrestling.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. I'm sure, front row tickets were 1,500, 2,000. But I'm saying tickets were as low as
Right,
38,
right,
you know.
exactly. What you were doing was they the tickets were low enough to allow families to, yeah, to go there, maybe not to have front row seats, but they're actually there to enjoy the environment, to enjoy the matches.
Right,
Those
exactly.
who can afford the high ticket prices for front row, good for them. But the fact of the matter is that tickets, if you're sitting, in the nosebleed sections, you shouldn't be paying fucking $1,000 for those tickets.
Right.
But let's get to the show, man, because like we said, this was a really really good pay per view. I know Wednesday on the recap of the Go Home Dynamite, we all said that, they didn't leave us excited for this pay per view. And I stand by that. They didn't leave us excited for this pay per view.
No.
But holy crap, I'm glad that I still watched it because this was, I haven't seen a bad AEW pay per view since this promotion has started, right? Has there been some that's better than the others? Absolutely. Last night was one of their best pay-per-views, in my opinion, since they actually started 6 years ago.
Now, what did they have, like 12 matches last night?
Yeah, it's something like that, fucking 6, 7 hours long. I mean, goddamn, that was definitely worth the $50.
Yeah, yep. Looking back, I said yesterday that 35 I think is fair, but looking back, if they had 12 matches and I missed the first match, um, but 12 matches at $50, that's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and I tell you what, one thing we often complained about with AEW pay-per-views, although they're always good, was sometimes the way they start versus the way they end. The matches really aren't placed, in the order that they should. Um, that wasn't the case last night. You
Nope.
know, it started where it started, it ended where it ended, and when this pay per view was over, we were like, God damn, that was an excellent pay per view. I mean,
This
from the start to the finish.
Yeah, no, I mean, we sat there, and I mean, after every match, it was like, yeah, that was a good damn match,
Yeah,
and even we could come up with like what was the least favorite match of the
yeah.
night, or lack of term, worst match of the night, because there really wasn't a match
And
that was
that's with and that's with Monet in the corner, that because neither one of us are Monet fans.
right, right, and we did mention that yesterday too. Yeah, that includes Monet's match, yeah, that was all right. So, anyways, we start out with the trios match, tag or title match. Uh, Death Riders of Kid, Yuta, and Claudia versus the Ops of God. I had his name for a
The
second.
kid,
Who?
the kid, just call him
No,
the
no,
kid.
no, no. Shibata,
Oh yeah,
Joe, and Hobbs.
Hobbs.
Um, this broke down really fast. Um, but the Ops got the win. But after the match, that's when the hell really broke loose. To be honest.
Yeah. So Joe was left injured. A chair shot. Well, his head was in between the back of the seat and the chair. Um, and he took that shot. They had to carry him out of the ring on a gurney. Now, oftentimes when we see this particular spot, this particular injury, if you will, the person injured is usually written off TV for a while. Now, I know Joe was off of TV because he was finishing Twisted Metal season 2, which, by the way, guys, that is on Peacock. If you haven't seen it, check out season 1. Great, great show. But he was out for a while to finish season 2. He came back. I'm wondering if there's something else going on within the movie world or a television world where Joe has to be written off of TV because he's gonna be going for a while to actually film another show. I don't know. That's just my speculation. Or maybe he's only going to be out for a couple of weeks and come back, and this is going to add to that fire, the fuel to the fire of the already feud that the Ops were having with the Death Riders.
I think they're going to put more emphasis on this since Moxley lost his title last night. Because they'll want to get gold back with the Death Riders.
Right.
Well, sorry I spoiled the ending. Um, Next we go to the Casino Gauntlet match. This again was a good match. Starts out with MGF and Briscoe. Um, Juice Robinson reappeared last night, looking really good to be honest.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
man. Let's stop right there for a second. So I agree. He looked really good, but I have to be honest with you. The Juice Robinson for me kind of had that the Macho Man Randy Savage appeal, that it was kind of crazy. You never knew what he was going to do, right? Oh man, shaving off that beard really took that away from him. He doesn't look like that crazy, unpredictable guy right now. Um, I did not like his new ring gear. Again, that's just me nitpicking, right? But physically, man, he looked great. He really did. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I hope that we're going to have that faction that he's in back, because we've seen the guns show back up. All we need is for Jay White to show back up. So again, because that's a faction that when they started, I was like, eh. But man, they really grew on me. I love their entrance when they come into the ring. So yeah, I really hope that we have this faction back together here pretty quickly.
You know, in a way, they kind of remind me of Degeneration X for some reason.
Yeah,
And not the Shawn Michaels version, but the Triple H and the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's because the Guns are a part of it. I don't know, but they just kind of remind me of that a little
I,
bit.
yeah, I think it's because the guns are part of them, and as well as the guns uses that crotch shot a lot that their dad and Billy Gunn. I mean, their dad is Billy Gunn.
Road
Armstrong,
Dogg,
yeah,
yeah.
Road Dogg did. So that could be why there's definitely similarities to Generation X because of that. But like I said, I really enjoy that faction. I really wish that Billy Gunn was part of it, maybe their manager, and maybe that could be because it seems like Billy Gunn may no longer be with um whatever
Caster.
his yeah Caster, since that group's broken up. I know he came back with Caster. Um,
No,
when he
actually, Caster's the other one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can't remember their names. Oh, I'm not a big
Boeing,
fan.
Boeing,
Boeing, yeah,
Boeing.
yeah. Billy Gunn came back with Boeing when Boeing was gone for a while. It seemed like they had a little bit of a disconnect. So I don't know. But if Billy Gunn is no longer with Boeing, I would love to see him back with his sons, with Jay White and with Juice Robinson.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good pairing. MGF ends up stealing the win, which we kind of anticipated,
Right.
which led me to believe that um, Page was going to win because Page and MGF have a history versus Mox and MGF. But to be honest, I'd probably rather see Mox and MGF go at it because I haven't seen that before.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
such is life.
Now, let me say this about the gauntlet match, and I mentioned this to you last night. I almost have gotten to the point that I prefer the gauntlet match over the Royal Rumble, just because of the fact that AEW's only been around for 6 years, and a lot of the people that they started off with aren't there anymore, and they've gone off to do other things, but they're still young enough to come back during the gauntlet match as part of the surprise that we fans have gotten used to with the Royal Rumble. The problem with the Royal Rumble, though, is WWE stars of yesteryears, the ones they always use for the big surprises, they're at the point now that they're not making these surprises anymore. They're in their early 60s, late 50s. They're not coming back for part of the surprises like they used to. So you still have these fresh surprises with the gauntlet matches. So it's got to the point that I really do enjoy these gauntlet matches a little bit more than Royal Rumble. Now, don't get me wrong, WWE's about to be um to the point that a lot of the stars who's left WWE are still young. I guess for the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing younger surprises come to the Royal Rumble. But the Royal Rumble for the past few years, they've really disappointed when it came to these big surprise appearances. Whereas, like I said, AW the gauntlet matches, we're getting those surprises. So
I think what you're going to see though is the surprises are going to be not so much older talent, but you're going to see people jumping ship, you
yeah,
know, or re-entering WWE,
right,
such as like a
right.
Ricochet or
I hope not. I,
I don't
I
know.
I don't want to see Ricochet back at WWE just because I don't know if it's the booking. I don't know if Ricochet's just more comfortable at AEW for whatever reason, but Ricochet seems to be a better talent at AEW than what he was in WWE.
He never
Um,
played a heel in WWE, and he plays a heel here, and that's added a lot to his character.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I am not a huge Ricochet fan. He's very talented in the ring. He's gotten better with his mic skills at AEW. But there's just some guys that I just think that they're better with one promotion versus the other promotion. And I think Ricochet's one of those guys that's better at AEW.
Yep, yep, absolutely. All right, so next we go to a four-way for the TNT belt that was vacated by Adam Cole for medical issues.
Yep. And let
Although
me,
Adam Cole came out last night and he looked good. I don't know what medical condition he's got, but
yeah, yeah. And let me stop right there. This was the part of the pay per view that I got a little worried about the crowd and that energy because when Adam Cole made that announcement, he literally sucked that energy out of that crowd. Not to his fault. I mean, Adam Cole's very popular, especially at AEW. There's a lot of fans who love the guy. He's going through whatever difficulties with an injury that he's going through, whatever that injury may be. But to lose Adam Cole, just it really sucked that energy out of that crowd. It very much reminded me of when Adam Copeland Edge had to give that retirement speech at WWE when he thought that he was done for good because of that neck injury. So this match started, right? And the crowd just at first it was silent. I'm not gonna say they weren't into it, but they were silent. Thankfully, by the time this match got to a little bit more past the middle part of the match towards the end, the crowd definitely got back into that match and got back into that show. You could take it from there as far as the winner.
yeah, no, I mean this is something they probably should have announced by an announcer versus Adam Cole, and then had Adam Cole come out and like hand that person a belt and then
Right.
explain the situation. You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, they it definitely, it took the wind out of the sails, but I think it was more of because there was a lot of thank you, Adam, and whatnot. But yeah, I think it was more of a shell shock to people.
Yeah. I mean, grown men were crying.
Yeah, no kidding. Grown men were crying. Two of them, at least, they showed were crying. I'm like, seriously, seriously. I mean, I love wrestling. I truly do. Yeah, I have my bouts where it kind of I'm not as excited, but I love wrestling. I do. All right, but I'm not gonna. Even when the
Oh,
Undertaker got pinned for the first time and the second time, I didn't shed a tear. I
no,
was in
no.
shock, but I didn't shed a tear.
I will admit to you right now, the night after WrestleMania, that match, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, when Ric Flair, that was supposed to be his final match.
Yeah, I probably got teary eyed there.
I'm very teary eyed during that because that was literally, I'm 52 years old. That was literally the end of a legacy, my childhood legacy of those guys. That was the end of me and my father, who I lost in 2008. Of that era, me and my dad would watch wrestling together. Ric Flair represented the end of that. So yeah, I was very, very, very close to being, tears. I didn't cry, but the lump in my throat was big, and the dust in my contacts just it was aggravating during that. I have to admit.
Looking back, I probably shed a tear. I probably shed a tear. I'm not gonna lie. I probably shed a tear. Just for the same reason. It was the
Right,
end of an era. Shawn Michaels saying "I love you" for the super kick. I mean, you couldn't write shit better than that, to be honest.
right.
So yeah, I probably shed a tear at that point. The only other time I probably shed a tear was probably Eddie and Chris Benoit in the
Oh
ring
yeah,
at the end of WrestleMania. Because them were two guys that just worked their asses off, and they said they'd never get anywhere, and here they were at the top of the food chain of their respected wrestling company. And so yeah, that's probably the only other time that I probably
well, let me just say about something about Eddie Guerrero. Now, I'm about to say something that we may not have another viewer ever again. I was not, at the time, a big Eddie Guerrero fan. At that time, I did not appreciate Eddie Guerrero's hard work that he had put into the business to get him where he was at. I can admit that. But when he passed away, seeing these larger than life characters, um,
break
that
down.
right, because when you watch professional wrestling, I mean, these are guys that you look at that, you suspend your disbelief so much so that these are guys that just cannot be hurt. They're bulletproof in a way. And you see these larger life characters break down that way. It absolutely did affect me. Now I came to appreciate Eddie Guerrero's work that he's done. especially after I informed myself more about the struggles that he went through in life to
Yep.
overcome to get where he's at. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero's passing was definitely something, a point that I shed a tear as well. Nothing against Adam Cole. I like Adam Cole, but I just didn't share a tear. I was upset. Not I can't even say upset. My heart went out to Adam Cole, right? Because he himself has dealt with a lot of struggles in professional wrestling. I mean, he went to NXT. He did what he did at NXT, only to have the powers to be in WWE want him to only be a manager. That's why he actually left WWE, from what I
Yep.
understand.
Yep.
That was a slap in the face to Adam Cole, because Adam Cole, man, I tell you, back in NXT days, I think that was probably the highlight of his career as far as popularity. Um, so when he came to AEW, I was excited for the man to come. It sucks if he does have to give up his career. Um, and as I said in the coverage that I did of Adam Cole being injured, we at Get Your Bell Rung all wish Adam Cole a speedy recovery. We hope to see him be able to come back to professional wrestling. But more importantly than that, we want Adam Cole just to be healthy. And if him being healthy means he has to give up professional wrestling, then so be it. Maybe he can at that point get into that management role. I think Adam Cole would be an excellent manager, to be honest with you. I think he's a great wrestler. I hate to see him leave professional wrestling as a wrestler, but your health is more important.
Yep. Absolutely. All right. So, anyways, in the four-way match, we got Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, and Dustin Rhodes versus Kyle Fletcher. And I say versus Kyle Fletcher, you get basically 3-on-1.
Right.
Um, Also, with Sammy Guevara's and Dustin's second match of the night. Again, great match. I
Yep.
really can't speak
Yep.
differently. I really thought Kyle Fletcher was going to take the belt. I was utterly amazed and shocked that Dustin Rhodes took the belt, and you could actually see real emotions coming out of Dustin Rhodes. I felt it was real emotion.
Absolutely.
Um, I'm glad that he got his flowers. I would have much rather see a world title on him, but I'll take the TNT belt for it now.
Yep.
Um,
So my the highlight of the besides Dustin winning, the highlight of that match was when um first you had Garcia stop Dustin Rhodes from doing his famous shattered dream shot, the kick to the nuts. So Dustin was like, fine. So then Dustin was ready to do it. And then Sammy stopped her. You can see Dustin a little annoyed, like, what the fuck? And then Sammy was like, well, let me tell you why. And then he got his nut shot in. And then finally, the guy who does the best nut shot kick in professional wrestling, Dusty Rhodes, got that kick in. That was absolutely great. Now, the one thing I did not like was before the match, they did a vignette about Dustin Rhodes and how he's never won an AEW title like the TNT title, stuff like that,
a singles title.
a singles title. For myself at that point, and I told Mark Dustin's going to take this because of that vignette. Man, I wish they could have not done that, because if they would have done that, play that vignette, there was no way in hell I thought Dustin was going to win this belt, because
Right.
he's always this close, but it never happens for him. The vignette, I think, would have been better served to be played on Wednesday night. Congratulations to Dustin Rhodes for winning that. And then they go into playing the vignette of how hard he's worked throughout his career, including AEW. But that singles title has always eluded him, but now he has it. That would have been a much better a place for this vignette to be played. Nonetheless, I was still thrilled that Dustin Rhodes won it. I was also still a little shocked, because even though I was 90% sure that Dustin was going to win this belt because of the vignette, it is Dustin Rhodes. They haven't treated him the best in AEW as far as him being awarded that singles title. So that shocked a little bit. It was still there.
Yep. Yep. Again, overall, great match. Um,
Absolutely.
Next, we go to Will Ospreay and Swerve versus the Bucks. The Bucks had probably, I don't know if it was the cheesiest or the greatest entrance I've seen. I'm still at a quandary on that. Um, they came in on a ship, I guess,
Yeah.
while Justin Roberts is reading some sort of dialogue that somebody wrote up, about how great they've been or whatever. I don't know. I personally think they should have had a Pirates skull and crossbones instead of what they had for a flag, but nonetheless, it was again cheesy or extremely creative. I'm unsure of.
Well, the thing about that is, this was a bow. They were supposed to be, they're the founding fathers, so it's very much mimicking founding fathers back in the day, going to new land. That's what that was about. But what was great about the entrance was actually Swerve Strickland's reaction because he first seen him coming out in this boat, and Swerve was already getting a little frustrated with it. But then when Justin Roberts unrolled what he was reading, Swerve seen that and literally just rolled his eyes and threw his hands in the air and just like, "What the fuck? Are you serious?"
Yeah, it was almost
That
like
was
he didn't know it was coming.
right, right. That was great. Another great match, man. I know that you're not a big fan of the Young Bucks. I'm not as big a fan of them either. I think you dislike them a little bit more than I do. Um, but look, I still appreciate the work in the ring. These guys can go in the ring, especially when they decide. It's like when they decide they want to have a good match. Holy shit, it's a good match. I guess last night they decided they wanted this to be a good match. After All In was and is their WrestleMania. They delivered great match. I really enjoyed this.
If I do recall, I pretty much said that I don't think there's another tag team around that can match them as far as
Yep,
being in sync or
right.
something along that lines.
Yep,
So
absolutely. You did
I give them props. While I don't
right.
like them per se, especially the term young bucks when they're middle aged. Um, there is another tag team around that's probably more in sync than they are, with the exception of possibly the Hardys. But I don't even think the Hardys are as in sync
Right.
as the Bucks are.
Right. Look, when it comes to the name the Young Bucks, that's a lot. Them being middle age, as you said, that's a lot for a lot of tag team wrestlers from back in the day. Look at the Rock and Roll Express, still doing their thing. I mean, if you really think about it, their new name should be Classic Rock and Roll Express
Yeah, but
because
they're
they're
not
age.
calling themselves the Young Rock and Roll Express. Yeah,
Nah, but still, I mean, and they're still, and look, nothing wrong with it. These guys, they're on the independent scene. The Rock and Roll Express absolutely sells for the younger talent, as they should. When they've appeared on AW a few times, they came in and again they put over the younger talent. I appreciate Rock and Roll Express. I've met Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, great guys. I think it was Ricky Morton who teased hitting on my wife, matter of fact. Um, so yeah, great guys. And I'm all for them being in the ring as long as they can go, as long as it makes sense though. These guys should not be on top anymore. They should be putting over the younger talent. And eventually the same will be true for the young bucks. It's going to get to a point that, if they're in a business, they're going to have to start putting over the younger talent. They're not there yet. They're just in their mid 30s. I think mid 30s, maybe close to 40. Um, but yeah, I mean, right now they're still good. And look, to their defense, a little bit, and I will say this about Kenny Omega as well. These guys are. This isn't a storyline. They are truly the EVPs of AW. They could easily put their position in front of everybody and demand that they are going to be the tag team titles. Kenny Omega could have said, I'm going to be the world champion, but they haven't, to their defense. They have put over and let other talent shine. So you have to give them that credit.
yeah, they gave Private Party a bump on that first tag team tournament. Which shocked the shit out of me.
Yeah, but they also did Private Party dirty, as far as my opinion. They won the tag team titles and they defended it maybe once or twice. They lost it, and they haven't been seen on TV since. That's something I need to look up. Mark, look, man, just because you disagree doesn't mean you got to walk the fuck off. Where you at? Yo, Mark. Well, guys, until he comes back, unfortunately, I don't have the card in front of me. Let me pull up the matches. I should be better prepared in case this type of shit happens. But again, we were talking about the Young Bucks and their oh, there he is.
A phone call came in.
God damn it, dude.
Well, I didn't accept it. So, anyways,
I thought maybe you got mad 'cause I was talking about private party. You said, fuck you, I'm done. You finally
nope,
walked off
nope,
of
nope,
life.
nope. I had a phone call come through and I didn't answer it, but I had to decline it and it locked up my system.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, the only problem I really had with this match was there was a lot of no selling on some final moves. There was a lot of no selling on both sides. You know,
Right.
other than that, it was a good match.
And honestly, that seemed to be the theme throughout this pay per view. There was some crazy bumps that should have been the end of the match
Yep.
that they kicked. And look, I like false finishes. It adds excitement to the match to a degree. Two false finishes to me is plenty enough. After that, it starts to get a little ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I can go about three and then that's it.
Right. Right.
All right. So, anyways, Will and Swerve end up winning the match, which really kind of surprised me, but kudos to them. I'm
Right.
happy. There's speculation, at least by us, that if Will and Swerve lost, Swerve was going to turn on Will. That wasn't the case because they won.
Now,
Go ahead.
we've got to mention the stipulation. There wasn't titles on the line, but there was the position of EVP on the line. So apparently now, Will Ospreay and um
Swerve?
Swerve, from what I understand, will be the new EVPs.
No, I thought, and I could be wrong, is they were going to put two new people in place of that. And Swerve and Will were not going to be. I thought I heard that on Dynamite or Collision. I could be wrong. I guess we'll find out
Yeah,
Wednesday. I'm
yeah.
sure.
I could maybe I missed that, but I tell you, if that's the case, so what you're saying is that Swerve and Will Ospreay will be able to pick two new EVPs.
Yep. Which I'm
Ah,
sure would be like Christopher Daniels and Jerry Lynn or somebody, or
something, but
I don't know.
fine. But I think entertainment wise, storytelling wise, it would have been a much better storyline and with the entertainment value if it would have been Swerve and Will Ospreay as the new EVPs.
It depends how they play it. Because if the new EVPs, if they're not Swerve and Osprey, if they're a continual thorn in the side of the Young Bucks, then I could see it. But yeah, I see where you're coming from too.
Yeah.
So next we go to the women's gauntlet match. Again, extraordinary match. To me, Thunder Rosa looked good, but I think you disagree with that. Um,
It's
Julia,
not. It's not. Let me stop you right there. It's not that I disagree with you about Thunder Rosa looking good because she did look good, right? She's good in the ring, but she is very quickly kind of become the female version of Bret Hart as far as being, the most bitter person in professional wrestling. She has, she's on a radio show on series XM. I can't remember the name of it. It's with David or Dave, whatever his last name is. Anyway, she bitches a lot about things on that radio show. It's kind of turned me off to her a little bit. But make no mistake about it, she did look great last night, and she is very good in the ring. I cannot disagree with you at all when it comes to her ability to wrestle.
yeah. I enjoyed Julia Hart coming out. I enjoyed that new girl from Brazil. I think her name eludes me.
Yeah,
At one point,
Spider
both
Woman.
her, yeah, Spider Woman, yeah, both her and Julia Hart were upside down across the ring from each other or whatnot. I thought that was kind of an added touch. The big surprise though was Athena won, which really just was probably the biggest shock of the night to me.
Yep, yep,
Um,
yep. I agree. There was quite a few shocks last
yeah,
night. There
yeah,
really was. Um, you know, Dustin Rhodes winning that title was the feel good moment of the show last night for me.
yeah.
Um, and then Athena winning, that was a shock. But I have a question as far as Julia Hart and this is called her Spider Woman, um, doing that move where they hang upside down, or even the move where she,
The Bray
kind of
Wyatt move.
the Bray Wyatt. Yeah, who was doing that move first? Was it Bray Wyatt or was it her? I'm curious to see. Who was? God damn it, Mark. Tell people to stop calling you during this time, you son of a bitch. But anyway, he'll be back momentarily. There
I'd
you
have to
go.
say Bray.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Shit,
I.
damn it.
Yep, yep, yep. Got to get a laptop, man. But anyway, Athena winning was shocking. I didn't see that coming. I thought for sure that it was going to be um uh who did I tell you who I thought was going to take it last night in the women's gauntlet match? Um, I can't remember who I predicted was going to win it.
I don't know. I thought you said Bane, but maybe not.
No, I said Bang should have been the one who
Yeah.
would have won it. Um, but it was I thought it was going to be the AEW version of Bailey, which
Oh,
is
Willow.
Willow. Yep, yep. I thought Willow was going to take it. Man, yeah, I was surprised that she didn't.
Yeah, I was surprised to see her and Stratlander or
Chris,
Chris.
yeah.
Yeah, go at it. Yeah, I thought they were trying to mend fences, but apparently not.
No, apparently they're working, they're paying the seeds that Chris Statlander is going to be with Death Riders at some point. At least that's what it looks like. That's the direction that they're going. Matter of fact, I thought that if it wasn't Happy Girl to I can never remember her name.
Willow.
Willow, if Willow wasn't going to win it, I thought it was going to be Chris to take it. Again, I was wrong. It was Athena.
No, I thought it was a pleasant surprise to see Athena take it. To be honest,
Well, right, because I,
it's
I
not the
think
normal.
right, and I think a match between her and Tony Storm is going to be somewhat entertaining. Now, I don't think Athena is as strong on the mic as other people are, so it's going to be interesting to see if that happens. The promos that they're going to be cutting on one another.
Yeah. All right. So next we go to a three-way tag team title match with the Hurt Syndicate, Jet Speed, and the Patriot. Again, another good match. Hands down. Um, surprisingly, Bailey looked good, or Speedball, Mike Bailey. Uh, Kevin Knight, I thought really stood out in this match. To be honest, um, Hurt Syndicate gets the win.
Thank
Everybody
God.
clears out except for the Patriot, and then you see Nick Wade turn on Christian, which was kind of a surprise, but not a surprise because we knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
Right, yeah, I've been predicting this for a minute.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the match. Look, I was okay with anybody winning it except for Jet Speed. Um, Again, I don't mind Kevin Knight so much. Not a fan whatsoever of Mike the 80s Billy. Just again, he's good in the ring. I just don't like him. Now I predicted this a few months ago. I predicted that Christian was on the verge of turning into a babyface and that him and Edge was going to be paired back together. My partner Mark thought I was crazy, didn't see it. Guess what happened? Christian again, his family turned on him, and who came to save his ass? That'd be Adam Copeland, whatever you want to call him. He came out, and of course, he took the mic, looked at Christian, and said, "Go find yourself," which I thought was really cheesy. Is a play on words from when Christian turned on Adam Copeland when Christian told him to go fuck yourself.
Yep.
So,
Yep. Yeah, I thought it was cheesy too, but you knew once Christian was getting his ass handed to him, Edge was going to come out. You knew it,
yep,
you know. But it was still nice to see Adam Copeland or Edge or whatever you want to call him come out
yep.
because we haven't seen him in a minute.
And I am predicting it right now, everybody. You can mark it on your calendar that on July 13th at 3:46 p.m. I am saying that these two are going to get back together as a tag team and they are both going to retire at the same time. This is going to be their final run. They're going to want to leave the business the way they basically came in the business, which is together.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see it any other way. All right, so next we go to Storm versus Tony Storm versus Monet. Again, a great match. There was some high spots in here. There were some kickouts that should have been kickouts. There were some crazy spots. Um, Lo and behold, Tony won, gave Monet her first loss. I think you and I disagreed on who was going to win because I said I couldn't see them giving Tony another belt. You said, "Oh, I can," you know,
Yeah.
and
And go ahead.
and I think Tony's got, or not Tony. I think Monet's got enough clout on her contract that she can call her matches, creative control or whatever you want to call it. And if she doesn't have creative control, she's got to have something pretty close to it.
Yeah. So first, I still stand by that. I can still see them putting that title on Monet,
Oh, they will.
even with all the belts that she has. Now let's get to great match, but there was some definite things that got a little ridiculous as far as the false finishes. Three fucking
Storm
Storm
Zeros
Zeros in a row. And Monet
kicked out.
kicked out of that, right? This is the problem with this. Any female wrestler now, no matter how good they are, if they get beat by one Storm Zero, this makes them look weak as fuck now. Weak as fuck. Which also means that any female that kicks out of one Storm Zero, if they do face Monet in a match, there's no way that they can beat Monet because, Monet took three Storm Zeros. I mean, she is obviously damn near unbeatable. That's what that showed. I don't like that. There was a couple of nasty moves though last night that match that I was like, oh, surprised they got up from that, including the Storm Zero from the top rope. That looked devastating. I was literally concerned for a moment that we have just witnessed our first homicide in the middle of the ring. I mean, it looked devastating. Props to both of them. Other than that little complaint, rest of the match was great. It,
Yep.
it, it was really a very good match.
All right, so next we go to Okada versus Kenny. Great match. The only complaint I got about this is, and you brought this up yesterday, is his issue he had medical about a year ago. They were still selling, if you hit him in the stomach, how it affects him. No, once that's done, it's done. It's over with and whatnot. So they really placated to, you know, his stomach injury or whatnot. But other than that, it was a great match. Okada came out with a different hair color, which didn't phase me a bit. Doesn't take away from his wrestling ability. Um, but I really like Okada as a wrestler. I think he should be a heavyweight champion. I doubt they'll ever give it to him, but I really think he should be an AEW champion just because of his ability. And his personality is not that bad, to be honest.
So again, I agree with everything you said. Great match. My complaint with this match was the same one that I just talked about with Tony Storm and Monet. Too many false finishes. I mean, for the love of God, um, Kenny Omega took three or four of the Rainmaker's clothesline, basically, is what it is. And he kicked out of that. The Rainmaker kicked out of the one winged angel move. I think he's the first one to ever kick out of that. Uh, but all in all, it was a good match. I think they made the right decision by keeping it on
Okada.
on Okada. But give me a second. Um
You forgot why you walked in the kitchen, damn it.
no, I want to read something.
Oh,
So Tony Khan, this broke this morning, has changed the rules for the AEW Unified Championship, mandating that all future defenses will be contested under continental rules. Kevin, what are those continental rules, you all
right,
ask?
right.
That means there will be no outside interference in the matches for the unified title. The decision comes after a controversial finish at Alvin, Texas, where the Continental Champion Okada won the match, according to Wrestling News Source. Basically, Tony Khan told Don Callis that if this would have been under those rules, your ass would have been fired. But the rules, the decision still stands. This is what I found extremely dumb about this. Isn't all pretty much straight up wrestling matches supposed to be no interference?
Yeah,
I mean, unless it's a no
death match.
disqualification match or a four-way tape match or a three-way tape match, these special matches, right? But yeah, I mean, when I read that, I'm like, what are you talking about, Tony Khan? That's pretty much the rules for all professional wrestling matches, unless there are special um rules, that in, that takes place because of the type of match it is. But
Yep.
nonetheless, that was breaking this morning.
I'm still sticking with that. Kenny Omega's phasing himself out. I think he's going to retire here soon.
We talked about this last night. I wouldn't doubt it. Since his diverticulitis diagnosis, he's definitely slowed down. We know that definitely took a lot out of him, as should be expected. I mean, the man almost lost his life. Uh, as I said, he wrestles a lot differently than what he did beforehand. He seems like he's more cautious. He's not as careless in the ring. And when I say careless, I don't mean careless towards his opponent. Careless when it comes to his own health.
Yeah.
He's not doing a lot of the stuff that he used to do.
I think he's taken into stock that, he almost died and now it's time to enjoy his life and the fruits of his labors, to be
Right.
honest. I'm saying that he's not going to wrestle. I just think it's going to be scaled back quite a bit. And I think you're going to see him retire in the next year, possibly 2 years, to be honest. But I definitely think he's going to scale back quite a bit
Possibly.
and probably fall into that more executive VP role.
Yeah.
All right, so then we end up with Mox versus Adam Page, and this was kind of a crazy match altogether, to be honest.
Yep. Now I tell you, we talked about earlier how we had said there was not a bad match whatsoever. And when we talked about this early in the pay-per-view, maybe around the middle part of the pay-per-view, we were both like, holy shit, man, this has been a great pay-per-view. There's not been one match that we could say was the worst match of the night. But then I mentioned, but we still have
Mox.
the Mox match. So we thought maybe possibly we would say this was the worst match of the night. But I got to tell you, they delivered tonight, man. They absolutely delivered tonight in this match. This was a crazy match. There was lots of blood, as we knew that there would be. That was no shock. They used the barbed wire. They used a so-called wood of nails, which Mark pointed out. Those aren't nails. Those were just the steel brushes, the bristles from steel brushes that they were using. That was kind of wrapped up tightly to look like nails. Yeah, good match, man. And Adam Page wound up winning this match. Now I'm glad that Page won it. We got that title off of Moxley. I don't think his title run was the best in the world. We haven't seen that title in almost a year, 200 plus days. My concern is the last title run that Adam Page had was also very underwhelming.
Yeah. There were a few things we need to point out. RB Darby Allen showed up. Brian Daniels showed up in a mask, but that didn't last long. So there were some pleasant surprises, I guess. Daniel Bryan looked really good. Darby Allen looked good. Actually, looked like he probably turned up a little bit. I don't know. I would have been. It would have been nice to see Orange Cassidy too. I guess if you're going to throw in some of the people that haven't been around for a while.
I think he's
Oh,
still hurt.
oh yeah. Oh, could be. But yeah, Page won. Um, he was kind of emotional over it. I was surprised how fast the blood came on this match because I don't think it was probably a minute into this match, and
Right.
there was a fork to Moxley's head. You know, so that kind of surprised me how fast they bled. I had
Right.
thought that was kind of unnecessary at that point, but whatever. I could
Right.
see it halfway through the match, but not 30 seconds into it.
Yeah. Now,
Um, Go ahead.
did this, did, and I was thinking about this today before we did the podcast. Did this match in any way kind of remind you of the match between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns with the so Brian Danielson coming in kind of represents for WWE the Undertaker coming into that match between Cody and Roman, right? Um, and then Darby Allin coming in, and then the other guys coming in as well to make sure that this match didn't finish with Moxley stealing the victory. So there was parts of the match that definitely reminded me a little bit of the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns um, match when Cody first won that title to finish the story, if you will. Uh, just thought it was something I would mention. I'm not saying that took away from the match. I thought the match was a very good match. I'm just curious now to see where they're going to go with this with Adam Page winning that title. Yeah.
You know,
Oh, go ahead.
I think if you're going to pull that up, you got to pull up Dustin's win because that was more reminiscent of an 80s NWA title match and the ending of
Mm-hmm.
that. Everybody coming out. The only thing missing was the champagne over Dustin's head or whatnot. Um, I didn't see that way, but again, I have the memory retention of a dead chipmunk, so I don't remember Undertaker coming into Roman and Cody's match, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. Even though I watched it, I know I watched it.
Yeah, he choke slammed The Rock.
Yeah, no recollection.
Yep.
So,
So yeah, I mean, but oh no, again, great pay per view. Look, I don't very often give this grade, but and I'm sure there's going to be the knuckleheads out there who hates AEW just because they're not WWE. And again, I don't give a rat's ass. Um, I'm going to give this pay per view an A plus.
if it wasn't for all the false finishes, I'd give it an A plus too, but I got to go with straight A.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it was by far probably one of the best I've seen. Thank you for your hospitality, by the way. You and your wife and your kids. You guys are always a pleasure to be with. But yeah, no, easily
Yep.
was an A match or a pay per view.
Yep.
I'd rank it up there with anything that WWE's done this year. Um, I seen some rumors that Saturday Night Main Event was better. No, I watched Saturday Night Main Event afterwards. It was not better.
Right.
Goldberg's match was good. It went longer than anybody anticipated.
And
Um,
I,
but
and I yeah, and I want to talk about Saturday Night Main Event because there's some things that we have to mention real quick. One, Seth Rollins with a knee injury. It was not part of the storyline. Seth Rollins was actually supposed to win that match. They had to make a quick call because of this knee injury, which we've seen it end abruptly with LA Knight taking that match. Now it's and I wrote something about this. There were a lot of sources out there, news sources out there, wrestling news sources out there who were saying that now WWE creative is going to have to think of something quickly and strip Seth Rollins of that money in the briefcase. And I said this. look, if you're going to write on professional wrestling, at least fucking know something about professional wrestling and know what you're talking about. Number one, Seth Rollins has a year to cash in that briefcase. They haven't even come out yet. The severity of the knee injury, as far as we know, he may have only tweaked it. We don't know yet. So to jump to those conclusions right off the bat is both irresponsible and as well as it shows apparently the lack of knowledge within um some of the things within professional wrestling, some of the rules, right? Again, no need to even jump to that yet of them having to take that briefcase off of Seth Rollins because of an injury when we don't know the severity. And on top of it, he has a full year before he has to cash in that briefcase.
Right. So if he's out 6 months, that puts it into January.
Right,
All
right,
right. And it's not like it's a title he has to defend every so often. It's something he can carry till he cashes it in.
right,
All right.
right.
Now, the only other thing why somebody would say that is they have a severe dislike or disdain for Seth Rollins. Now, I don't care
Yeah,
for Seth Rollins personally, but I wouldn't strip him of it. Although that might be an inkling I might have just because to carry forward the storyline.
yeah,
But I'd have to get all the information before I make that determination. All right.
right.
I wouldn't strip him of it because I have a dislike for him.
Right, right. Now, the next thing, the Goldberg match. I wrote about this as well. Was this a so-called five-star matches? Which I hate people that rate matches like that. But was it a five-star match? Absolutely not. Was it entertaining? Yes. Did Goldberg deserve to have a retirement match? Regardless if you like Goldberg or not, um, he had been in the business long enough. He was a big part of an era in professional wrestling that really elevated professional wrestling. Yes, he deserved that retirement match. On top of that, why anyone would expect a five-star match from Goldberg blows my mind. The man has had multiple injuries. He's 58 years old. He is dealing with a very bad knee that affects his mobility. The match, it was what it was. It went a lot longer than I even thought that it would go to. Um, Gunther winning it was the right call, especially with the difficulties Goldberg is dealing with that knee. There's no way he'd be able to go on a run as a champion. So all these people who are crying about Goldberg getting a match that are bitching and moaning about the match itself, again, these people, in my opinion, are not true wrestling fans because if they were true wrestling fans, they would have at best at least respected the fact that WWE was giving this man a match so his family, his son, could see him officially retire. The match was as good as it could have possibly been, in my opinion. So again, to all you fans that are disowning it, you're not wrestling fans. You're just people who merely watch professional wrestling to bitch about something. And as I said, I challenge everyone who bitched about Goldberg to put on a pair of wrestling tights, strap up your wrestling boots, and get in the ring. And at 100% health wise, you show us what a five-star match should look like.
Right. When you talk about he had a big part, he was probably like 25% of what the whole Monday Night Wars was all about. He was easily, you know, his merchandise sale probably at one point in time could match Austin's, or damn close. He was probably number two for merchandise selling as a whole overall at
Right.
one point in time. You know, that includes the NWO, that includes, Shawn Michaels, that includes whoever else you want to throw in there. I'm willing to bet he was number two. He was definitely in top five, you know. And so if you're in the top five, you definitely had an impact on the Monday Night Wars, period, the end.
Yep.
Whether he was phenomenal in the ring or not, you know what? For 2 years, people clamored to see Goldberg. You didn't change the channel when Goldberg was on the fucking channel. He didn't. I don't care. I don't care if Mick Foley was winning the world title that night. If Goldberg was wrestling, you watch Goldberg wrestle. Whether it was 2 minutes or 4 minutes or 6 minutes, you watch Goldberg wrestle, and then maybe you flipped.
Yeah, I had a fan that made a comment that I'm like, such a great point. Goldberg's aura, right, was bigger than his ability in the ring. In the fact of, he had this aura of being this unstoppable beast. Who was going to be the guy that stopped Goldberg? And I couldn't agree more. You know, I was in my 20s watching this, and when Goldberg was coming to the ring, you were right. You stop what you're doing and you watch because it was a holy shit. Whose ass is about to get handed to him? Or will this person actually be the one to stop Goldberg?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fact that Goldberg actually had opportunity to have his final match, that WWE gave him that. After the match, I guess during the post show, Gunther went on to say that he respected Goldberg, and I'm ad libbing here, but basically it was an honor for him to be his last opponent.
Right. Gunther did give props, and whether he meant it or not, the fact that he posted it means a lot to me.
Right, right,
You know.
yeah,
And to be
and,
honest, I'm sure Gunther watched Goldberg in his prime.
right, right. Now, watch Saturday Night Main Event. I did as well. Again, I'm a wrestling fan, so if something's coming on WWE, I'm going to watch it. Same thing with AEW. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to cover it, but I can tell you that for those who are saying Saturday Night's Main Event was better than AEW out in Texas, I have to question your sincerity. But look, I'm not going to say they're wrong because professional wrestling is all about perception, and maybe they did truly enjoy Saturday Night Main Event over AEW. How's that possible? I personally don't know. I myself will say that I feel like AEW out in Texas absolutely was the best product last night, as well as it should be, because again, this was their WrestleMania. If Saturday Night Main Event truly was better than out in Texas, then AEW would have to stop in their tracks and figure out what's wrong with our product then.
Right. Right.
But yep, that will do it. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central, I have a legendary wrestler. I'm sorry, 7 p.m. Central. I have Ron Powers coming to the podcast. He is a legend within professional wrestling himself. I'm looking forward to that podcast. So subscribe to our podcast Tuesday. Myself, Mark, Bob Cook, Gerald, hopefully Kurt will be back to do the recap of the fallout of Saturday Night Main Event on Monday Night Raw. Until then, guys, you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Mark, it's a pleasure as always, my friend.
Thank you, buddy. Go get